A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome, one and all. It is the midpoint of the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup here tonight. The Venom Truck Series rolls into the upstate New York NASCAR behemoth that was getting ragged on earlier on the MotorStardom podcast. It is the 8-turn, 2.5-mile Watkins Glen International, playing host to the Venom Truck Series for the fourth time on the proper NASCAR layouts. Welcome in to Turn 300's coverage of the Venom Truck Series chase. It's Tommy Cook. It's Matt Williamson, as always. Partner, it's the simplest road course that NASCAR goes to. It's the simplest road course that the Venom Truck Series drivers will see all season. And you got to take the good with the bad with that.
Yeah, you certainly do. I mean, on one standpoint, it's the simplest road course, and it's also the one that these drivers know the best. So, I mean, it's more than likely most of these drivers will be comfortable with the racetrack. But on that same note, that means that you're going to have a lot more competition than you might if you were at a more more technical racetrack that the drivers don't know as well. So everybody will be comfortable, but everybody will probably be pretty quick as well. So that should create some good racing here, especially with the playoffs as the big picture here tonight.
Certainly, let's take a look at that big picture. Big mix-ups last week between the Luke Peterson win, the John Kay runner-up, the Brody Gunter DNS. Things are looking up pretty different headed into Watkins Glen here tonight.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Matt Schlosser, regular season champion, he still leads the points here in the chase. So he is looking good coming into tonight because he was also a winner at Watkins Glen previously. We'll get to that a little bit later. John Kay right behind Matt Schlosser. He likes his chances here tonight as well. Chad Stearns, not necessarily a road course guy, but he's just a great truck driver. He should still fare well. Luke Peterson looking to have a good day today. Hayden Palumbo sits there in 5th. Josh Bonacek, Zach Lockett 6th and 7th. You see Brody Gunter there, who missed Bristol, but this should be one of his best racetracks. So look for Brody Gunter to look to lead some laps here tonight, maybe take the win. I think he would be disappointed with anything but a win here tonight. Andy Poliski will start in, is there in 9th in the points, and Josh Freed rounds out your playoff drivers here this evening.
Everybody has pointed out that Brody Gunter is the favorite. It shouldn't shock anybody to tell you that he is on the pole for this race. He needs a big night here tonight. But twice he's rolled into Watkins Glen with the Venom Truck Series. Twice he has gone away empty-handed, disconnected from the server, from the lead. His first go-around in his rookie season back in season number 6. Next time we were here, it was the boot layout. He was leading, got caught up in lap traffic, ended up finishing off the podium that race after crashing out of the event. So what does Watkins Glen have in store here tonight for Brody Gunter, for Andy Poliski, another road course winner in the Venom Truck Series, and for 2 previous winners here in the Venom Truck Series at the Glen, John Kay and Matt Schlosser? And what does it have for anybody else, in fact, that is going to tackle our 8-turn friend in upstate New York? I'll be in the Finger Lakes region here in exactly a month's time. Very much looking forward to that. And very much looking forward to the MotorStardom at the Glen. I think it's fair to say, presented by Outback Steakhouse here this evening. We'll get to the starting lineup here now with Brody Gunter on the pole, but it was only a 10th behind. John Kay put down a great qualifying effort. He will start on the outside of the front row here this evening ahead of 45 laps. Tonight, it is Luke Peterson, last week's big winner, beat John Kay by 100th of a second to the stripe. He will start now in 3rd, looking to go back-to-back. Joshua Moticek had himself a top 5 run at the Daytona Road Course earlier this season. He'll start in 4th. It is Matt Schlosser, the most recent Watkins Glen winner in the series, starting in P5. Andy Poliski, multi-time road course winner, will start in 6th. Hayden Palumbo didn't even get to complete a lap at Daytona Road Course earlier this season. He'll start in 7th. Zach Lockett lines up to his outside in 8th. It is Rodney Matney and Jan Van Leer. Matney coming off his best finish of the season last week at Bristol, starting in 9th. Van Leer, another road course ringer, starting in P10. Eric Breeding has some road course finishes in the top 5. He'll start in 11th. Next is teammate Paul Ellison, who has a win here at the Glen back at season number 4. He'll start in 12th. You mentioned that Chad Stearns, not noted for being a road course racer, but always one to be good on the long run. We'll see what he's got from P13. Kyle Zittel will land to his outside in 14th. It is Steve Roman and Brantley Gainey. Gainey nearly coming away with the podium last week, but wrecked on the final lap. Starts in 16th. Next to the driver who did finish on the podium last week, it is Garrett Rainey starting in 17th. The man of the hour, Mr. MotorStardom himself, RJ Starcevic, on the outside of row number 9 with approximately 0 practice laps. This should be very interesting. Tyler Logan, Cole Maxwell on row number 10. Tyler Bergert will round out the field here tonight. Only 21 drivers getting after it here at Watkins Glen. A couple of EOL penalties to share. One of them, I believe, is Andy Poliski, who will jump all the way to the tail of this field from his original 6th starting position. So, Matt, the weather conditions are changing quite rapidly here at Watkins Glen. It is really a yo-yo of sorts.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, track temperatures were, I think, maybe over 110 or right around 110 earlier in practice. Then they went pretty far down underneath 100 degrees Now they're at 102 right now is the track temperature. You see some clouds in the sky. As the clouds roll through and then the sun comes out, it will change back and forth pretty rapidly here, it seems, from what we've seen in practice. So we'll definitely want to keep our eyes on that as we keep going. We got 45 laps here around the Glen. We're probably just looking at a one-stopper here, if I had to guess. Some past winners that we've kind of alluded to already here tonight. Nathan Reynolds, who is not here, was a winner in Season 1. Paul Ellison won in Season 4, and John Kay in Season 6. And Matt Schlosser, your current leader in the playoffs, he won here, albeit on the boot layout. So not quite the same, but will run all of the he will run all of the corners here. There were just a few extra ones sprinkled in there for his win.
So, some news to pass along. Chad Stearns got booted out of the session. He is back, but that means that he'll have to start in pit lane, assuming that he reconnects in time to technically take the grid from pit road. Only a couple of corners to find out if that is going to happen, but that's going to set him up for a more difficult day than he was hoping for. Rounding the final turn, it is Brody Gunter and John Kay on the front row. Peterson and Matichek row to the midpoint of the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup is green at the Glen. Dash down the hill to the right-hander. Oh, and Matichek is loose under braking, saves it. Miraculous. Little contact there with Kay and Schlosser, and he'll lose a couple more spots.
Wide.
That, I believe, was RJ Starcevic, just trying to play it safe maybe. Up the hill they go, and Gunter is galloping away as they head towards the bus stop now.
Gunter with some breathing room into the bus stop. Schlosser took a little peek to the inside of John Kay, but maybe just trying to fake him out a little bit. Rodney Matney really loose on exit there on the bus stop. That allows Jan Van Leer to pull up a little bit closer here.
Matney up from 9th to 7th. And now here's a move to the inside. Matichek undeterred, looking for the spot on Hayden Palumbo. No incident limits, so these drivers can push hard through turn number 7 out into the runoff area. You don't get a slowdown penalty there either. Gunter leads the opening lap. Luke Peterson is through on John Kay to second. Kay now under fire from Matt Schlosser for third.
Oh, no. Matichek spins it down to turn 1.
Again with a save. As drivers scattering to get through there. Breeding, Vroman, Zittel, Ellison as well. Matichek will shuffle back in the line in the 12th position. Now his Breeding is hung out in the S's.
Yeah, both him and Palumbo overshot turn 1. And Matichek was trying to turn down underneath of Palumbo, but went in there with a little bit too much speed. Ended up kicking the rear end out.
I mean, these drivers are doing competitive laps now in completely different conditions than what they practiced in. And just as I say that, the sun starts to peek out as we get to the carousel. That definitely plays with the mind just a little bit as Matichek going to try and rally to get back into the top 10 here, closing back in on Zittel as Vroman and Ellison are headed into turn number 7 in front of them. Vroman will overtake for that position on Ellison as Gunter already out to a 2.3 second lead up at the front of the field. Peterson with a 1 second advantage over John Kay, who's fended off Matt Schlosser. Palumbo running in 5th. Zach Lockett just had a bit of a problem there. I think it's sorted out now down the front straightaway.
Jan Van Leer made a pass on Roddy Matney for 6th down into turn 1. Look at this. Schlosser looking again to the inside of Kay. And again, we'll think better of it into the bus stop there.
Schlosser's first career Venom Truck Series victory came here at Watkins Glen. He very much played the long game. Also had a couple of things work in his favor with Nathan Reynolds having some hardware issues and Brody Gunter getting wiped out. But, I mean, Schlosser had to be there to capitalize. Then the next time he won at Road America, he absolutely spanked the field. There was nobody that was going to catch him that day. So he could do it both ways, is all I'm saying.
Whoa, John Kay got that thing really loose there through the final corner. Schlosser going to be able to get a run here. Schlosser not ready to push the issue quite yet, but that is no surprise. He is very smart in setting up his moves and making them at the right time.
Only the second time we've raced in the Venom Truck Series on this lower downforce package as Schlosser is awfully squirrely now, giving chase to Kay out of the S's. And I turned quite a few practice laps yesterday with these drivers in their practice session, and this truck is not easy to drive, even if this is the quote-unquote easiest track that the NASCAR drivers will turn right on. But regardless, these trucks are a handful, especially for Schlosser now, who's not getting any air to the front of this truck whatsoever, being this close to John Kay.
Tyler Logan has blown it through the bus stop way down in the grass. He is going to be dead last in the field now, right behind RJ Starcevic. Chad Stearns has made up a few positions here as he had to start from the pit, so he's going to look to work his way up and hopefully salvage a few points here. Brody Gunter has had a couple of blinks. I don't want to jinx anything, but
I will. Oh boy,
we know the history.
Yes, we do.
Brody Gunter has led many laps here at Watkins Glen, and a surefire win was taken from him due to a disconnect. So yeah, that will be something to look at there with a couple of blinks from the 01.
Zach Lockett getting through on Eric Breeding. That's Lockett taking 13th away. Want to quickly shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us in the chat. Of course, the Modachecks. Hello to DataCheck, who is also watching with Robin. I think this is lore-wise the first mention of Dad hanging out. So shout out to Robin, shout out to Bailey, shout out to Stickers McQueen and Action Jackson, both cheering on Rodney Matney, who's running in 7th. And, of course, Lisa Kelly always cheering on Tyler Bergert, who's running down in 18th right now.
Did you come up with that on the fly?
I don't know. I don't know if it'll hold up in court. So,
data check. Like it.
I'm just trying to make everybody else T-shirt money. That's all.
I'm trying to make us T-shirt money. Let's get a jinx in here tonight. What do you say?
Oh no! Hot off the presses. You heard it here first. We're thumbing the scales tonight at the Glen. Presented by Outback Steakhouse. Some drivers somewhat close to each other. It's still Schlosser and Kay, the closest two on track for position. And I think it was Schlosser that mentioned what we always say is he's going to send it off into the grass. It's one thing to catch somebody. It's another thing to pass him, and passing really is a premium here at Watkins Glen.
Especially early on in the run when everybody's still got some tires underneath of him. I think Schlosser probably is hoping to look for later in this run, maybe we'll be able to get this pass done on John Kay, but with the mistake, I mean, he has fallen pretty far behind the two for right now.
And part of that was sticking two tires into the grass through the bus stop will incur a slowdown penalty of about a second or so. So he's dropped down to 1.3 seconds behind Kay. So this will give him an opportunity to get a little bit of air to the front of this truck, maybe cool his tires down just a bit, and see if he can save up for a push before pit stops come. Garani started to drop a couple of positions here. Brantley Gainey has gone through, so move BG up to 15th now. As Andy Poliski working up through the field after his EOL penalty to start, he's up to 11th now through on Kyle Zittel.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned it. Zach Lockett also had an EOL penalty here tonight,
yes.
But he did not take a qualifying lap because of that. So he was just starting in the back of the field based on the running order from qualifying anyways. But it was because he had an EOL here tonight also. He's worked his way up to 13th.
Joshua Modachek catching Steve Vroman here pretty quickly. That'll be for 8th. Still rocking the Garage 56 livery. Same one that he ran pretty well with at the Daytona road course. It's been off to a shaky start, but a pretty good recovery to this point.
Yeah, been curious to see what Paul Ellison might be able to do. I mean, he's had limited sim time here as of late, so especially when you're coming to a road course, having to knock some rust off a little bit as Monachek nearly blows it into turn one again. That's where he went around before, and he nearly got into Steve Roman, was able to make the save once again, but he is abusing this truck here so far in the first stint.
Turn one is tough. I can relate. You're not braking at the markers, or at least I'm not. I'm always aiming for a gap somewhere between the lights, the caution lights, and the first braking marker. And that's why I usually end up like Joshua has been a couple of times through this one. Jed Stearns just made a pass into the bus stop to take 15th from Brantley Gainey. That was close, but well executed. As thought we had a problem with John Kay there. He was just using all of the off track through the penultimate corner.
Monachek gonna try and get back after it again here. He has turn 7 figured out. I mean, he gets a great run down the front stretch, but just can't. Oh, he really sends it into turn 1 this time.
Trying to get it locked up. He at least is going to keep it out of the barriers. Froma with a nice crossover, and now on the outside here into the right-hander. This is not where you want to be, and he knows that he'll roll out of it.
That was a absolute A-plus veteran move there from Steve Roman to let him on by, turn right underneath, and know that he's going to have that preferred positioning there through the S's. That was definitely A-class there for the 00.
Roman, if anything else, has been blindsided enough times this season to know when it's coming at this point, and just to let it roll on by. Paul Ellison just missed the carousel big time. Andy Poliski has gotten through. So move Poliski now into the top 10. Blosser back to within half a second now and closing in. Just a couple of truck lengths behind John Kay.
Well, seems like Cole Maxwell may have had a problem.
Yeah, I think he is parked it for the night.
So RJ Starcevic will not finish in last place here at the Glen.
I was going to say we should give him some love here in a minute, but we've got a couple of battles going on right now. But appreciate RJ and Mason and Steven for having us on the show earlier, and all the Venom Truck Series drivers, chasers that wanted to come on and say their piece as well. That was a lot of fun. Really appreciate it, and enjoy working with MotorStardom whenever we get the chance. And really hoping that they were being serious about sending us some bloomin' onions.
I would love to get that package. I would be curious of the logistics of it all.
Yeah. Vroman taking the long way around on Rodney Matney, and now Monachek is going to get through as well, so it's a 2-spot swing from Matney, who will go from 7th to 9th.
Yeah, and Matney has looked really loose, just a little bit uncomfortable, hasn't quite been able to figure out how to be, steady with this truck so far. Hopefully he'll learn some things through this first stint, can have a stronger one after the pit stops come. But, yeah, he's sliding backwards a little bit here.
Schlosser again closing on John Kay. Up the hill now, headed to the bus stop. But again, you get to this, 0.2 of a second, 2 truck length or so gap, and you just find this bubble. So hard to make anything stick with no air getting to the front of this truck. You really got to hope for a mistake from John Kay. John is not likely to have one of those here. Not saying it's impossible.
Well, you either got to hope for a mistake or you got to pull a Josh Monachek and just absolutely send it into turn 1.
Well, if he
Man,
could stay
K.
this close as K is kicking the rear end of that truck out. If he could stay this close into one, he might send it.
Oh, he's got a good run, too. K
He's going
struggled a
for it.
little bit.
Good drive out of turn number 8. Into turn 1 now. K goes wide. Better drive off for Schlosser. He might be able to keep this positioning.
Yeah, he's got a nose in there.
Up the hill. Now K's
Wow,
in
look
the
at
driver's
that.
seat here. Nice. Well
Nice.
defended.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a
but
tough
K-
right-hander on the outside.
K stood on it, got loose, and Schlosser's going to get through now. He had no drive off there whatsoever. And patience, persistence, perseverance, and probably some perseverance as well. Schlosser is through to third.
Now we'll see what Matt Schlosser's able to do now that he's in front of the 2. And can John stick with him at all? I mean, Schlosser has 5 seconds up to Peterson, so, I mean, he's got a large gap in front of him just to get to second now.
I want to say as well, Peterson not necessarily known for being a road course guy. He's had a couple of decent runs here and there. But he said he put in 450 practice laps. That's 10 times the amount of laps that we're running here tonight. So if nothing else, Peterson just knows this track inside and out at this point. So that is why he is looking to go at least back-to-back podiums here this evening. And is only 7.5 seconds behind Brody Gunter if something were to happen to your race leader.
Josh Monacek finally able to make that move on Steve Roman, so Monacek up to 7th now.
And part of this equation is that Andy Poliski has caught this group as well, so maybe Monacek feeling like it was time to go. As Andy already threw on Rodney Matney, now working on his teammate Vroman. And Steve will let him have it in the bus stop. So Poliski is on a belter right now, up to 7th. As you see him drive through the grass. Him, Vroman, Monacek, and Manny all went through the grass on the bus stop on the last lap, while Schlosser and Kay were battling. So if all 4 of you have a slowdown, it's like nobody does.
These are the closest trucks on the racetrack here. Poliski is, I mean, we've seen him run in the top 3 here at Watkins Glen quite a bit as well. Unfortunately, had the penalty to start the race, but I mean, for him to work his way up to 8th already, I mean, it has been an impressive drive, and only a third of this race nearly gone. So Poliski is looking towards a good finish here tonight.
Yeah, Poliski is a little motivated, I think it's fair to say, after how things shook out at Bristol last week. Did end up finishing in 12th, but, I mean, spun out from the lead, led 20 laps last week. That was not the way he wanted his race to end, and being down 9th in the standings. Poliski is certainly looking for more than that. Looking at the lap times, right now Schlosser is the fastest driver on track. So this gap is coming down up to Peterson and to Brody Gunter. But again, it's about a 12.5 second gap from Schlosser up to your race leader. So Peterson much more in play currently. And Gunter's still about half a lap away from lap traffic. Or half the track away, I should say, from lap traffic. I would imagine by pit stop time we'll start to get into it a little bit.
Good battle brewing here. Zach Lockett starting to pull up to Paul Ellison. Lockett's been kind of locked in here in the 13th spot for quite a while.
Okay.
He's looking to break the chains. Chad Stern's just a couple positions behind them as well, still trying to move his way forward after starting from the pits. He is just behind Eric Breeding at the moment.
Well, Lockett was trying to get after it there and went 4 wheels, full slide through the grass. At least he's still driving, but he is now served a slowdown penalty and will have some more work to catch up to Papa Paul there in the 55.
Here comes Andy Poliski. He is caught up to Josh Matacek already.
Bouncing it off the rumble strips there, looking to the inside of Matacek for 7th.
Let's go on board with the driver of the 32, trying to take away the 7th position.
Roman and Matney let Poliski through. I'm not so sure Matacek will.
In fact, I can guarantee that he won't.
No. Update, RJ Starcevic is down pit road. Look at these guys just bouncing and careening over the curbing there in the bus stop.
Poliski much smoother on the throttle here through the carousel, was really able to get through the middle of the turns there much better than Matacek, but Poliski just couldn't really go anywhere with it. He's going to take a huge dive to the inside now.
So Poliski through to 7th. Matacek actually has damage on the right front of that truck, I would imagine, from the opening lap contact into turn 1 with Kay and Schlosser and anybody else that he made contact there with. As RJ has officially retired from the event. Like you said, not last, but will settle for 20th here. As Poliski awfully loose there in 1. Matacek trying to fire back.
Bit of an issue for Schlosser through the bus stop. He lost about 3 or 4 tenths there.
Looking at the sector times, he was 3 tenths off of everybody around him.
Chad Stearns was able to get around Eric Breeding. Now he will work and look towards Zach Lockett, who still has not been able to get around Paul Ellison. So Lockett was trying to get himself out of this 13th spot, but Chad Stearns might take it away.
Stearns with the oopsie pit lane start. Lockett with an ELL earlier, and Poliski also with an ELL up to 7th. So 3 big drives thus far from the back of this field. Will we see an Andy Poliski last to first here tonight, a la the Melon Man?
I think Andy might need about 600 miles to be able to get that done here tonight.
It's at least 1 caution, probably. Well, the gap has officially breached double digits now for Brody Gunter, 10 seconds ahead of Luke Peterson. Schlosser still trying to claw his way back towards your runner-up runner right now. Looking at the lap times at the stripe, 13:80 for Gunter, 14:43 for Peterson, and a 13:96 for Schlosser. So Schlosser's lap times closer to Gunter's than they are to Peterson's. And that gap is now right around 4 seconds from 3rd to 2nd. John Kay running in 4th. Hayden Palumbo, who we have not mentioned at all right now, on his own island in P5, and it always works out that way at the Glen. I think Poliski did that 1 year here at the Glen, where he had 15 seconds to the driver in front of him and 15 seconds to the driver behind him. And I'm sure Hayden will take being on his own island tonight compared to where he was at the Daytona road course, which was out in turn 1. And a lot of these drivers, now that they're a bit settled in, not to overlook the rest of this race, but the true chaotic question mark of the whole chase next week, Atlanta, the new one, Atlanta 22. That is a track that presents opportunity and chaos in equal measures. I'm sure not a lot of the front runners in this chase are looking forward to that next week.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think that one is the one that you have the least amount of control over. So, yeah, if I was in one of their positions, I wouldn't be that excited about it either.
Yeah, about the only thing they had to worry about tonight, other than racing the racetrack, was making sure that we got through the S's without a track blocker. Not always a guarantee. See the ASRL Sports Car Championship from a couple of seasons ago, where we had about a 22-car pileup out of the S's.
Yeah, that is, if you haven't seen that one before, that one is a sight to behold.
It sure was. Anytime they're busting out the full course cautions in those, you know something is horribly, horribly wrong.
And somewhere JJ Wang is smiling upon us.
Yeah.
Well, these three drivers from 12th to 14th are still the closest battle in the racetrack. Here comes Chad Stearns, a big run on Lockett. Those are teammates, by the way, and Lockett will give way to the 05.
I think it's safe to assume that Josh Freed is bowed out of the chase. And, of course, he's a new dad, so that's completely understandable with an early retirement in the chase opener. Must be taking the rest of the season off. Hopefully we'll see him in one of the two next couple of races, but he's out of contention for the title. The 939 Motorsports, pretty darn good season, their first in competition. As Paul Ellison coming to pit road from 12th. And this is close to halfway.
Yeah, close. A little bit early. Expect these drivers to go another couple, 2 or 3 laps, but Ellison wanting to get some new tires early on here. Garrett Rainey will do the same.
We'll stoke the flames of drama a little bit. Brody Gunter with another blink.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I have not been mentioning it on purpose, but there have been at least 3, if not 4, throughout the evening so far, but has come back in pretty good quick time. So hopefully those are just small blemishes, and no major issues will arise.
I'm not going to comment anymore. But a 13-second lead for Gunter right now over Peterson. Peterson's advantage over Schlosser shrinking by the lap. Although he was about dead even with him last time around. Schlosser within 3 seconds now of the runner-up. So some clarification from the drivers asking when the stage break is going to, or not the stage break, rather, the stage bonus points are going to be. I would imagine a lot of drivers are basing their pit strategy around this. Oh boy, that was a big one. Gunter was gone for the whole length of the front stretch.
We were looking at the car and side camera for Luke Peterson as he was going through the bus stop the last time around, and his desk was shaking pretty violently. You could see his camera shaking. Tells you just how much the force feedback affects your wheel as you're going over bumps and through grass like you are at the bus stop. So there's some things the drivers are dealing with here in their hands. The wheel is shaking like a leaf on a tree here.
Some more support for Zach Lockett in the chat. Lockett now has just picked up 12th position because Jan Van Leer is down pit road. Jan not worried about staying out for the bonus points because he's not in the chase. So Jan's saying this is what's best for him, to pit on 22, come into 23. Now Brody Gunter will pit from the lead and should still take the full stage points offering here, even as he is coming down pit road. And, yep, he did.
And you're going to see Luke Peterson go ahead and go by. Matt Schlosser will do the same. Would imagine a lot of these drivers in the top 10 going to go one more here.
Tyler Berger too fast entering. Will stay an extra 40 seconds in his box. Poliski is in. Rodney Matney, Chad Stearns also in.
Chad Stearns pulled right up to the back of the 83 there on entry.
You would love to hop him here on pit road.
Eric Breeding, Tyler Logan coming in this time as well.
Luke Peterson coming through turn number 7 will have the opportunity to get on pit road here. As Schlosser now 2.25 seconds behind. Peterson going to go one more. Schlosser also staying out. As does John Kay.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Every lap you can do now shortens the run you have to the checkers. I mentioned the track temperature swinging wildly. Within an 11-degree window right now, hanging tough at about 101 degrees. But even as I said that, it dropped down from 102 mid-sentence. These drivers fighting the track, fighting the elements. As Palumbo, Matichek, and Vroman all in from 5th, 6th, and 7th. Zach Lockett in as well from 8th. Whoa, crash, Eric Breeding. Into the bus stop.
Man, cold tires. They'll get you.
Didn't see how it started, but it's worth wondering if he maybe caught that inside wall a bit too much. Watching a replay of it, I'm not too sure he didn't just shift down too early and lose the back of the truck. Luke Peterson's in from the lead. Schlosser and Kay go right on by. So they're going for the overcut here.
Take a quick look at the incident for Breeding here. Oh, man, it did snap right around on him, didn't it? And it didn't appear that he was starting his turn in quite yet, so you might be right on the money there, Tommy.
Hoping it wasn't a bunny shift.
Chad Stearns looking to make a move on Paul Ellison. Out of the carousel, he's able to clear into
Nice.
turn 6.
Good stuff there.
So that puts that puts Stearns up to 11th.
Coming to
I'm
19
sure.
laps to go. Schlosser and Kay both still out on track.
Man, they must just want to be able to haul the mail here on the last run.
Last time by, Kay a second quicker than Schlosser. Matt's starting to struggle a bit here in the 04.
Yeah, I'm surprised to still see him out on the racetrack. After that lap, I would imagine he would come in, but you never know. Schlosser, he surprises us on strategy quite often.
I should say as well, that was 2 laps ago. Timing didn't update. As problem, Steve Roman at the bus stop is around on exit and nearly came back onto the track with Chad Stearns approaching quite quickly. And Roman around again, this time in the middle of the track in the bus stop. Bergert and Lockett get through unscathed. Matt Schlosser now approaching quite quickly as Roman tries to get these rears back in check.
Luke Peterson just got around Kyle Zittel, who has not come down pit road yet. He is the lone ranger other than Schlosser and Kay that have yet to come down. So Peterson makes a pass for position, but Zittel still has to come down pit road.
Schlosser is down. K stays out.
And Gunter already has passed Matt Schlosser.
Yes.
I mean, that is going to be a massive, massive margin. And Schlosser was chasing Peterson. Here comes Peterson. Schlosser just getting off of pit road. It is going to be a large margin to get to Peterson now as well.
But quite a few lap fresher tires to do it. But you're right, it is a long way up the road here. John Kay, I believe, just called out that he is coming down pit road this time. Either that or he said thank you.
No, I think he's coming down. Yep, he's way to the inside here.
Say he wouldn't thank anybody for letting him through on track.
It is a 22-second gap from your leader, Brody Gunter, back to Luke Peterson. I mentioned it on the MotorStardom podcast earlier before the race started. That I think anything less than a win for Gunter was going to be an L tonight, and that certainly seems to be the case, especially now with a massive lead.
Peterson with a 6.6 second advantage on Matt Schlosser. That advantage is shrinking little by little, but still, that's a lot of ground to cover for Schlosser, even with the much fresher tires. John Kay, meanwhile, out of pit road with 2 lap fresher tires than Schlosser. And, back to 5th, but still waiting on Kyle Zittel. Now truly the Lone Ranger out on track to make his pit stop. The decent one running in P4 with Schlosser quickly approaching. Or running in 3rd, rather, with Schlosser quickly approaching. Three retirements of our 21 starters thus far. Maxwell, Starcivic, and Breeding are done for the day. As Schlosser, I mean, with exactly a truck width to work with there, tried to stick it on the inside of Zittel into the carousel and could not quite pull it off. You know, Kyle is blocking for his teammate here. Wants to make sure Peterson can get up the road. Schlosser sending it through the Jackie Stewart turn, and he will take 3rd back with force.
Oh, that was kind of a stealth bomber move there from Schlosser. He was just kind of tucked in behind Zittel. Seemed like he was going to follow him through there, and then all of a sudden he was sliding right on through.
We don't see it very often, but we've seen it more and more this season. Schlosser can get his elbows out when he needs to. I thought we had a problem with Joshua Matichek being slow on the track. Rainey is slow on track. Matichek running in 9th, Rainey running in 16th. I think we're all good to go. As Zittel now going to drop outside of the top 10. Now put Stearns up to 10th. Poliski running in 7th. He is tracking down Jan Van Leer, who was one of the first drivers on pit road. So let's see what Poliski can do and will do to get to 6th. And Jan just going to let him through. So Andy will take P6 with relative ease. And he has quite a bit of a challenge ahead of him to catch up to Hayden Palumbo. Schlosser just ran a purple final sector and was about 0.5, which is half a second for anybody playing along at home. Half a second quicker than Luke Peterson last time through. The Schlosser far and away the fastest driver on track as they are running. John Kay also ran a personal best lap last time by. He's only got 3.5 seconds to try and catch up to Schlosser with 2 lap fresher tires. Kyle Zittel on the freshest tires on track, making a dive to the inside of Steve Vroman. That is for 13th, and he will have it. Just up the road from then, Ellison leading a train with Matney and Lockett behind.
We've seen this song and dance once already before pit stops came.
Uh-huh.
Ellison maybe gaining confidence little by little here in this one, although time is running out.
And these 3 drivers all have Brody Gunter quickly approaching them, and this is where it all went wrong for Brody Gunter here at the boot layout last time. Albeit he didn't have a 22-second lead, but still, tangling with Michael Dean around the carousel saw his race dramatically change course. Last time by, Peterson the fastest driver on track.
Yeah, I mean, he's kept this gap back to Schlosser above 6 seconds. Problem is, Peterson has had decent tires up to this point. Now he's about, maybe about 10 laps into his run now. I think you're going to start to see some fall off here for the 38 finally. I haven't shown Josh Matacek on the cameras too much here tonight. We'll give it a little bit more time here. Currently running an 8th. Is self-proclaimed not a road course guy in the slightest.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys who say that and then will come home with a top 10 finish at the end of the night. Seems to go around the Venom Truck Series a lot. Zach Lockett threw on Rodney Matney to take 11th away. But not only do they have Brody Gunter coming up on him, they also have Kyle Zittel coming up on him as well.
Zittel said he wanted to run a top 10 here tonight. He's got much fresher tires than those competitors up in front of him.
I think he's played this quite well. If you know you're not in it for the win, the overcut is a great way to pick up places late.
Yeah, we should remind you that Ellison was the first driver down pit road. He came down on lap 20.
Yeah, that is very early.
Yeah, quite a bit earlier than these other drivers behind him. So for him to be even holding them off right now is a pretty good drive here for the 55.
It's not really been a net gain either. I mean, he was running right around 9th to 12th before he came down pit road. But he's also won here at the Glen before. He could play defense if he has to on rock tires.
Brody Gunter catching up to the 00 of Steve Froman here. Froman continues to run the preferred line. We'll see what happens here through the front stretch.
Oh, Matt Schlosser around. I was just about to mention that he was catching Luke Peterson quite quickly, but Schlosser around the carousel into the inside wall. Still in motion now. Doesn't look too bad damage-wise, but that has cost him nearly 3 full seconds.
Gunter able to get around the lap traffic here. John Kay smells blood in the water.
Yes, he does, and he should. Even if Schlosser is getting along up the road once again, these tires are hot. And headed up the hill through the S's is not going to do them any favors. Kay wants this spot back. And he needs points on Schlosser headed into Atlanta next week. He was a full second quicker than Luke Peterson the lap before that incident.
Yeah, and they both made up 3 seconds on Schlosser there with the incident from Schlosser. Whoa! okay. Really been out of shape. Massive wheel movements there.
I mean, these guys are both just throwing it into the bus stop, undeterred.
John is sawing on this thing at the moment.
You talk about a shaky desk. Meanwhile, up the hill in the S's, Zach Lockett is finally through on Paul Ellison. Matney has got his hands full with Kyle Zittel. But Lockett into the top 10 and some much-needed points for him now.
And
If
Brody
he can
Gunter
finish it off.
Yep, Brody Gunter approaching these drivers as well. Let's take a quick look at incident for Schlosser here. Through the bus stop. Looks to be pretty loose through the carousel. That might have been a downshift. Seems like
Kyle
he was
Larson
doing okay.
will be proud.
Yeah, oh gosh. The disappointment on my face on Sunday. Yeah, and it was downshift there from the 04. Spun that thing right around, able to make the save, but loses a lot of time. But he's been able to stay out in front of John Kay, and in fact, he started to pull a gap on him again.
Shout out to, we'll just call him that, in the chat, cheering on Zach Lockett. Not sure if I said you or not already, but shout out to Damien Dania, cheering on Joshua Matichek. Matichek with lots of space ahead of him and behind him, firmly in 8th place right now. And Schlosser, yeah, starting to lap quicker. He was the fastest driver on track last time by. So he has put that one behind him, at least for now. To update as well, Kyle Zittel got through on Rodney Matney. So did Brody Gunter. Gunter now stuck in line behind the 53 and the 55. As Zittel's got much fresher tires. These are the freshest tires on track versus the oldest tires on track. Zittel, the aggressor. Into turn number 1, he should have it with ease. And he does. And Ellison now will yield for the race leader. Gunter just letting Zittel set some picks in front of him. Always nice to have a blocker to open up the lane. But now Zittel going to let Gunter go through. Boy, he got awfully close to that wall there.
If you don't have a couple close encounters with the wall, I don't think you're doing it right.
I guess. I'd like to finish.
I mean, he is 23 seconds in front of second place, so I guess he could back it off a little bit. You're right. I concede. Yeah.
Race is flying by. We're into the closing stretch already. It's only been 47 minutes since the drop of the green. So we should be good to get this in under an hour. Only showing 38 total incident points through the field, which is not that bad.
No, off track's pretty generous here as well.
You have to worry more about the slowdown going wide in turn number 1. But everybody's minded that pretty well up to this point. Last time by, another 0.4 of a second lopped off of Luke Peterson's advantage over Matt Schlosser. Still over 6 seconds. Schlosser doing himself no favors with the spin and save a few laps ago. But has still kept the pace up quite nicely. Still the fastest driver on track.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be kicking himself. I mean, he's going to be playing the what if I wouldn't have done that game to get to second. But, I mean, still a solid drive. He was able to make the save. able to keep himself out in front of John Kay, at least for now. So, I mean, it's not really no harm, no foul, but it could certainly have been worse.
Some harm, small foul. And every point matters. He didn't have a huge lead over Luke Peterson coming into tonight. And if he loses by 1 or 2 points at the end of the season, he'll look back to this. And whatever happens next week, too.
Yeah. Somebody who's having a great drive and is not going to have the greatest position to show for it, that is Chad Stearns. Started from the pits and has worked his way to 9th, and he has an opportunity to take 8th away from Josh Matichek here before this one's done and dusted.
And Stearns has caught Matichek quite quickly. Both of them looking pretty unsteady here. But Stearns not getting a lot of air to the front of this truck right now. Matichek with the front end damage that he picked up on the first lap will be a little bit hampered by that. Stearns now riding right behind Matichek, maybe trying to force a mistake out of driver 60.
Matichek
Into the bus stop.
Yeah, doing a nice job not succumbing to the pressure so far.
Whoa, Stearns wicked loose.
Yeah, really been out of shape there.
Another big mistake out of Matt Schlosser. Lost him almost half a second last time by on Peterson. So Schlosser is really cooking here, and not in a good way. He's cooking his tires. Did have to get through on Garrett Rainey, so that didn't help matters much, but that's lost a full second the last lap.
Man, Chad Stearns is just about dirt tracking around the corners here. I mean, he is full sliding through just about every corner here.
Well, Matichek's got turn 1 figured out. Stearns, a little bit better drive out of the S's. Not sure he'll be able to close this gap unless he decides to absolutely send it.
Definitely
Still
pulled
right.
the gap there. Much better trip through the bus stop this time for the 05.
Inside of a truck length now. And he'll be sizing this run up down the straightaway. Matichek backed up the corner a little bit, but Stearns still got great drive off. Not quite now or never, but this might be the time for Stearns, who went for the bumper there, didn't quite get it.
Yeah, has to make a little bit of a save. There's another big descent here into the final corner.
It's another thing. If you really have to whoa up and get on the brakes when you're already not having much downforce, you're just asking to spin around. Been a very quiet chase for Stearns, who was very white hot through the middle part of this season. First driver to multiple wins in season number 9. Excited to get a full championship run out of him, but it has not quite been what he's been looking for up to this point.
I mean,
like
he's
said,
still
a
in a good position.
great drive through the field.
Still in a good position, only 10 points behind in the points coming into tonight, but with the finish here tonight, even if he does get to 8th, he's definitely looking at an uphill battle, but Atlanta could be an equalizer.
It could be an equalizer, and he has won at the Homestead Miami Speedway before, as he got awfully loose there out of the carousel. So he may be, I mean, he's still going to go for 8th, but he may settle into 9th here, just as Matt Schlosser has definitely settled into 3rd. His lap times have fallen way off. He is not making much time on Luke Peterson anymore. as Brody Gunter is coming to the stripe to see the Illinois green flag. 2 laps to go.
And in some of these shots, you can see Gunter getting himself closer to Stearns and Monacek. He's not going to catch them by the end of it, but he has lapped up through 10th place. Andy Poliski trying to get himself into the top 5. We talked about Hayden Palumbo earlier, who was kind of out no man's land there in 5th. Poliski has just kept after it and worked his way to just a few truck lengths here.
You talk about drivers that are going to be worn out after the end of this one. Poliski definitely an EOL, now up, trying to get into the top 5. Well, as Monacek and Stearns continue to battle ahead, Brody Gunter is coming through the final turn right now to see the white flag. Final lap in the MotorStardom at the Glen, the midpoint of the chase for the Venom Truck Series. Stearns looking to the outside into turn number 1 on Monacek. And that one did not quite work out, but gave it a shot at least. A little bit of panic setting in, I would imagine, for Stearns to try and get this final position.
Yeah, he's going to have another
good
lap
run
to do it here.
Good run out of the S's. May not close up enough, but, I mean, if it's your final time, might as well give it a shot into the bus stop. Well placed, well defended for Monacek to hang on to 8th. Palumbo's advantage over Poliski is stabilized as well.
They'll have one more time around here being just in front of your leader, so
very true.
Stearns will still have an opportunity here if he could set something up.
John Kay's within a second of Matt Schlosser.
Right to the bumper. Could have given it to him if he wanted, but clean racing there from the 05.
1 lap to go for these two, but the driver right behind him is going to walk home the victory here tonight. Brody Gunter dominates the MotorStardom at the Glen for his 10th career Venom Truck Series victory, 4th of the season. Zach Lockett will finish in 10th. He's the next across the line with Zittel hot on his tail in 11th.
Poliski really tried to cut a lot off of the bus stop there, but it's just going to come up a little bit short unless there's a mistake from the 54.
Luke Peterson will make it official. He will finish in 2nd, and Matt Schlosser will fend off a hard-charging John Kay to finish in 3rd. So Peterson and Schlosser on the podium.
Oh, Monacek wide here through the carousel.
Very wide. Here's Stearns with good drive, and he has got the 8th position. Palumbo fends off Poliski to hang on to a top 5. Poliski in 6th. Jan Van Leer will finish in 7th. And to make it official, Stearns through the final turn as Monacek locking him up, trying to give it full beans. But Stearns will finish in 8th. Here come the burnouts. A sweep of the road courses in season number 9. Gunter. Don't know if he's all the way back in it, but certainly this will help his case if he wants to rally for the Nathan Reynolds Cup. 28 1/4 seconds, the margin of victory. And that is a can.
Yeah, I think I may have mentioned that word on the broadcast at Chicagoland as well. I mean, that was a whooping. There's no doubt about it.
You're really putting yourself over tonight, huh?
I've only got a few more of these left for this season. I got to put myself over.
Certainly. I mean, not bad enough that you got an actual top 5 in the Venom Truck Series here this season. But, man, great stuff from Brody Gunter. We expect nothing less. I mean, really, if it was up to Gunter himself, he would have won twice already at the Glen. This would have been his third win here. But tonight, third time is the charm here in upstate New York. Gunter with the win here this evening. Full finishing rundown. We'll talk to Peterson, and we will talk to Schlosser here in just a moment. John Kay finished in fourth. Hayden Palumbo in fifth, Andy Poliski in sixth, Jan Van Leer, Chad Stearns, Joshua Matichek, the last driver on the lead lap, in ninth. Then Zach Lockett will round out the top 10, Kyle Zittel in 11th, Paul Ellison 12th, Rodney Matney P 13th, Steve Roman in 14th, and it is Brantley Gainey to round out the top 15. Last driver running in 16th was Garrett Rainey. And then Tyler Logan, Tyler Bergert, Eric Breeding, RJ Starcevic, and Cole Maxwell, the 21 drivers that took the green flag here tonight, as they are going bowling at the Glen. At the start-finish line, Brody Gunter is getting beaten like he just beat the whole field. He's getting a whooping put on him finally. But we will go in search of your podium finishers, and we will talk to the driver that entered the night as the points leader. He'll finish with the bronze medal here at the Glen. Always good to talk to Matt Schlosser here at the end of the night.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good. The Watkins Glen, always very interesting. And you certainly had a good drive up from fifth to get the bronze medal. You were tracking Luke Peterson down there towards the end of the race, but that big moment there in the carousel, I mean, it looked like you just had to abuse this truck tonight to be fast, and it looks like it may have caught up with you.
Yeah, that was I am thankful I did not totally destroy it there. I had visions of Sam Hornish Jr. Beyblading down the backstretch. I was like, this is going to be me. And honestly, what I did there, I had a very weird kind of routine through that turn. I would roll the carousel in second gear and then shift up into third to put the power down, which is kind of a weird thing to do. And I honestly just downshifted to first because I lost focus and was just, yeah. So lucky I didn't blow the motor or totally destroy the truck. And I got a little bit of damage there, and then John Kay was absolutely giving me everything he had. And I think one or two more laps he would have had me because I was worn out. The tires were used up, but yeah, it was the kind of day I was hoping for, to just get a solid podium and lead a lap and get stage points. So it was a decent result for sure.
Society leader, what do you have for your faithful member?
Yes. Well, first of all, congratulations. We are now part of two societies, so I think we are in special air at this point together. So you brought a podium home for two societies here tonight. Congrats on that. But yeah, I mean, it was I think a day that you were kind of looking towards. Probably a podium was certainly on your mind, and you were able to accomplish that, especially with the points lead. You didn't have to go out there and do anything crazy, but you have a race coming up next week that does have the potential to change everything. Atlanta, the super speedway version. What are your thoughts going into next week?
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's, Talladega and Daytona are a little different because you can kind of like get your drafting lane going and work your way up. But Atlanta is just tough to get track position sometimes, and the tire wear is a weird thing. And I don't think I've ever made a green flag pit stop there, and who knows if we're gonna have to do that. So I don't know. I honestly hadn't. I was procrastinating even thinking about it. I was like, I'm just gonna go at this one race at a time. But now I have no choice, so I have to think about it. But I think it'll be okay. I just gotta. Honestly, I think riding around scared is not going to get the job done. I think you just have to go for every single point, and if you're in chaos, then that's just the way it falls. But it is what it is. But it should be fun. I mean, it's a cool track, so we'll give it a go and see how it turns out.
I will say, now that they've got the actual NASCAR pit lane entry down the back straightaway, once you do it once, it's a breeze, or it should be anyway, knock on wood. But yeah, so that'll be a welcome reprieve if we do indeed have green flag pit stops next week. But certainly Green to Checkers here tonight at the Glen, 5th to 3rd. Good stuff as always. And let's get some shout-outs going for you.
Yeah, shout out to the Society of Mats and the Society of Murphs, because we have two societies going there, as Matt Williamson said. So shout out to both societies. Shout out to Turn 200. Shout out to Venom and the admins who put the league on. Shout out to Luke Peterson. He drove his ass off tonight. He was talking to me earlier in the week saying he was looking for speed, and he obviously had no issue because he kicked my ass. So congrats to him. And congrats to Brody for absolutely destroying everyone. But shout out to my satellite team, Zach Lockett, Chad Stearns, Josh Freed, and shout out to RJ and the MotorStardom guys. That was a cool thing to do at the beginning. So appreciate them covering the league, and that's a really cool thing to do. So shout out for that. And that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, partner. Good stuff here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you again next week in Atlanta, but congrats on the podium here.
Thank you. See you later.
And Matt Schlosser mentioned he found some speed here tonight at the road courses. It's a career best road course finish for Luke Peterson, who, word on the street, did a couple of practice laps here in preparation for Watkins Glen here tonight. Welcome into Booth 200 and congrats on the silver.
Thank you very much. It's a gold. Let's be for real. Brody won. Come on now.
I mean,
we don't give him golds. He could have limped to the finish line and still won.
well, that's the thing is he came here gold, so you know it is what it is. But what was the official count you said on the MotorStardom show? 450 practice laps plus the 10 you did in practice.
It is a joke. I guess I've never said it in an interview before, but Garrett used to have a running joke that we required 500 laps of practice for Alabama gang.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't an actual thing, and I never believed it was, but that's what I did. So it became the running joke that most weeks I put in about 500 laps because I'm not talented, so I have to figure it out through the learning process. So yeah, it was 450. I think I checked this morning before I did a few more. So I probably totaled out at about 520, I would think.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Well,
I got nothing better to do, boys. 536, including the race. So
it worked out for you quite nicely to follow up the win last week with the second here tonight at the road course, best road course result. I mean, you've got the hot hand on the floor right now.
That is the play, in my opinion, right? I don't know if I said it last week, but Atlanta was almost the spot of my first win, and Homestead, I think I finished 6th last time, but I qualified pitifully and had to drive through the field. So I liked how it wound up, and I didn't have a lot of confidence here. So to go out, run second all night long, and just keep it home, I'm right where I want to be.
Matt, what you got for the Preacher Man?
Yeah, congrats on a great finish. I mean, that is a ridiculous amount of practice for this race. So, I mean, shout out to you for putting the work in. I mean, what kind of work can you put in for Atlanta, or is there any work to put in?
I think that's always the thing with Atlanta, right? Is I'm probably going to put in less than normal, but a little, because I can't remember the last time we ran there, but well, I can remember last time we ran there, but I can't remember the last time I ran since the tire model updated. And I know that track drives a little looser than its super speedway self. So I'm expecting it not to be a wide open pusher kind of style race. So we'll see if I'm right about that, but I think it's going to be a little different.
We will definitely see. Excited to find out either way. And, man, great stuff these last few weeks. Congrats on the runaround here tonight. And let's get some more shout-outs in before we let you go.
As usual, I'd like to shout out my beautiful wife, Kim, who I don't even think was watching tonight because she thought I was going to wreck because it's a road course. So she's pretty happy. Shout out Mom and Dad and sister. They always check in, watch it. Dad was in revival tonight preaching, but he'll check it out after it's over. Shout out to the wonderful guys at Alabama Gang and Super Kick. I mean, I practiced most of the week actually with off and on with John, a little bit with Zittel, and terrible luck for John. I hate that he got ran into because he had a good fast dang truck. Shout out Josh Matichek. Me and him did 3 AI races together, and it was very beneficial to be stuck behind him. I'll put it that way. Wherever he ended up ninth, he deserved better. He had a bad fast truck too. Let's see here. Shout out Turn 200. You guys are awesome and amazing. Shout out RJ and that pregame show. That was cool as all get out. What a wonderful sponsor. Lime Metal Roofing. The shirts aren't here yet. Dad has got them in the mail, so we're still riding around with Blaney and Carver Guttering. But other than that, as always, we conclude Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Pray before we started. Pray when we ended. That's how I like to start and finish.
There you go. Great stuff here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you again next week and get you that one better at Atlanta. But go rest up after too much practicing here at the Glen.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, it's time to talk to Brody Gunter, who once again on the road courses has decided to grace us with a can opening. Welcome back to Victory Lane, and congrats on your double-digit win here in the Venom Truck Series.
Yes, thank you guys. I think I'm keeping up the streak. That means of I think having equal amount of poles and wins. 'Cause I believe tonight was both my 10th pole and my 10th win, so I'm keeping up the streak of having equal of those. I believe.
You are correct.
Nice. Well, I'll try and keep doing that as much as I can. It's always like to have cool stats like that. What an amazing night. I mean, I'm just happy to finally, I feel like, have avenge myself in the past of not being able to finish any of the Watkins Glens on the lead lap, and especially the last time leading by I think 40 seconds with like less than 2 to go, and having it taken away from me to come back. I mean, feel like have a same amount of pace, if not better, and kind of like you said, dominant type performance and get a win. Actually, I think first time getting 4 wins in a singular season is so far. All my wins have come in 3s at max, and actually I think I always get every time I've won in a season I've gotten 3 wins. So the break off of that streak, I think it's been a heck of a good night and recovery this season.
I say it's one thing to feel like you're owed something by Watkins Glen, which certainly I don't even think you have to make the argument. I think that's definitely true. But also driving with a little extra something, having to miss last week at Bristol after taking the win at Chicagoland. I mean, certainly the fire was lit here tonight. But my question is the plan still to go for the championship, and what is it going to take to rally here?
I believe the plan actually is to go now, as I'm not doing the summer series I normally do, so I don't think I have anything at the moment planned for the last 2 races that counteracts. So I think I should be able to make it to both. Sadly, like last week, I didn't make it to Bristol because I had college awards for senior awards. So I think that ended at the moment the race session closed. So I didn't make it back to Bristol, but I think that was probably the second best race in the chase to miss. Is that heard it was a wreck fest, so that could easily then I joined and immediately got wrecked because of Bristol. With Atlanta coming up next week, that could also be fully the case because that is a track fully, I'm gonna say 99% luck, 1% skill, as it's super speedway type. So I just hope to make it through that. And then lastly is Homestead, which I don't know if I ever ran a truck at Homestead, but I know I have mixed feelings about that track.
Well, I mean, you won there in the Daredevil series, and I think Matt and I could probably argue the skill to luck percentages at Atlanta a little bit, but certainly going to be chaotic next week. Matt, what you got for your race winner?
Yeah, congrats on, just an absolute can opened up, as Tommy called it earlier. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, it seemed like it was pretty slick out there. The truck was dancing around. I'd like to kind of hear what your thoughts were on the track conditions and how difficult it was to drive. I mean, even though you made it look easy, it did not seem like it was easy at all.
Yes, so definitely. These obviously NASCARs are very difficult at these road courses. With Watkins Glen, I will say probably being, as I'm lagging, sorry if I'm cutting out for you guys. Being probably one of the better tracks for these NASCARs though, because of its banking in some corners. I feel like very flat, not many bumps, and it's not very hilly too. So it's a very good NASCAR track. I've probably enjoyed a NASCAR not as much as a sports car, but I felt like today it wasn't as slick as it could have been, but it was still slick nonetheless. I got in a nice rhythm, found some, I feel like, really good pace and speed. Had an amazing line. I felt like both the S's and the bus stopped a ton of speed through it. And was just trying to balance the car through a lot of the track. Felt like I was really good. The better part of the first half than it was the second half. I think that most of that probably blamed on traffic interacting interfering my rhythm. But it definitely became really difficult the last 10 to 15 laps when my internet started acting up, and it's not fun driving at packet loss.
No, definitely not. But you overcame here tonight, and almost a 30-second advantage at the end of this one. The official number is 39 points in the hole with 2 races to go. We're looking forward to the effort from fighting underneath for you. But congrats in the meantime on your 10th career Venom Truck Series victory, 4th of the season, and let's get some shout-outs in before we let you go.
As always, my team, Superkick Rival Racing, as well as the Alabama gang for taking me on this season, as well as getting with me on the Discord and on the track. They're a great group to hang out with, and I enjoy talking with them and trying to build off strategies and help each other. As well as everyone at Venom for both admins and racers for I feel like the really good and clean race tonight. As well, I want to thank lost my train of thought. I want to thank CGI Graphics for this beautiful Lambo F-150. As the Lamborghini will sweep all road courses fitting, isn't it?
Definitely.
And as well as want to thank you guys for broadcasting and doing a great job like you guys always do.
Well, thank you, partner. Go celebrate the win. Go party hard. We'll hope to talk to you again tomorrow night at Summit Point, but certainly we'll hope to talk to you at Atlanta next Tuesday as well.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Oh, man. What a night for Brody Gunter. 10th victory in the Venom Truck Series, 4th this season. And I'll read out the points before we go any further. I did mention down in 6th is Brody Gunter, 39 points back. Schlosser with a 10-point advantage over John Kay. Luke Peterson is now in 3rd, only 12 behind. Hayden Palumbo 4th, 22 behind. Chad Stearns slides from 3rd to 5th, 24 back. Gunter in 6th. Matacek at 7th, down 41. He needs a couple of big weeks. Zach Lockett down 55. In 8th, Andy Poliski still in the 9th position, and he is the funny number behind 69 points back from the lead. And not mathematically out of it, but certainly for everybody really from Gunter on back, they have a lot of work ahead of them if they want to get back into it. But that's what we got Atlanta for next week. Like you said, the great equalizer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I also think that a lot of these guys kind of hit it on the head that with, the new truck package and the tire model. I mean, tire wear is certainly a factor at Atlanta. I do think that if we can get at least one round, if not a couple rounds of green flag pit stops in there, I mean, things could turn out maybe much differently than we would expect it to there at Atlanta. I think you're going to have to be able to manage your tires while also being able to stay in your line, stay in the draft, and all that good stuff. So there is going to be quite a bit of strategy and quite a bit of driving skill that goes into it with that as well. Maybe a little bit more than you would at Talladega or Daytona. But the problem is you don't have very much room to maneuver. So looking forward to see what the drivers can do there. But yes, that is going to be one that could make or break somebody's season next week. There's no doubt about it.
And certainly we will be able to set the table for the season finale after we're all said and done next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's send the folks home happy here tonight. Let's give some shout-outs to the folks that were watching with us.
Yeah, shout out to Jan Van Leer at Insert Coin Racing. He had a somewhat quiet night, but still a good finish there in 7th. So shout out to Jan for coming out and getting a top 10 here tonight. Stickers McQueen always cheering on Rodney Matney, who struggled a little bit there towards the end of the race, just slipping and sliding, just couldn't quite get comfortable, but still had some fun out there. Some good battles there for Rodney Matney. Who is this, Tommy? The DJ.
Damian Dania.
Damian Dania. That's a name I'll have to start learning here as I'll be filling in on a couple of Wednesdays coming up. So looking forward to seeing Damian out on the racetrack. But thanks for tuning in and chatting with us here as well. And shout out to the man that was cheering on Zach Lockett. A big shout out to RJ Starcevic, not only for being here, being in the chat, throwing a few laps down on the racetrack as well, but also for welcoming the Venom Truck Series into the MotorStardom podcast with wide open arms here tonight. We were able to get on, some of your playoff drivers were able to get on there and speak their piece, give their 2 cents into things that are happening in the series. So big shout out to RJ. If you haven't already, check MotorStardom out on Instagram, or I think he broadcasts on YouTube as well with the podcast. So check him out. Big shout out to RJ there. Thanks to Lisa Kelly for being here, Action Jackson, and of course the Modachek crew, Bailey Marie Modachek, Robin Modachek, and as Tommy Cook would say, Dadachek was here also.
Yeah, like I said, just here to make other people money on t-shirts. Tomorrow night it is the Matt Williamson special. We're at Summit Point for the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple A's Auto Sport. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time with me and James Watson on the call for that one. I think next Wednesday you'll be on the call, but I don't remember. I think it's a Nürburgring maybe? Oh, God. Good luck with that. Then it is, I said it was this last week, but it really is this time, the regular season finale for the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series, this time in Michigan after another fun one at Pocono last week. So Michigan, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday night. It'll be myself and Joshua Modachek on the call for that one. Monday night, it will be the return of the Go Squadra Formula Super Series from Portland, finally on the channel at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. That'll be exciting, and that will lead us into Atlanta 22. Yeah, baby. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday night for the penultimate Venom Truck Series race of season number 9. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you to all the drivers in the Venom Truck Series. Thank you to the admin team. And thank you to RJ Starcevic and MotorStardom. And thanks to Outback Steakhouse. Thank you to Mr. Matt Williamson as well. That's all we got for you here tonight. Until we meet again from Watkins Glen, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Brody Gunter on Venom Truck Series career victory number 10 in the MotorStardom at the Glen. I love you. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.